Hello everyone. In this video, I want to talk about union and merge. This is not a data visualization lecture. I want to talk to you about two things. Number one, how do you combine multiple Excel files that are there in a folder? And number two, how do you combine two different files which have different fields in it? Let me show the problem statement first. You can see here that I have a folder on my desktop that is called sales historical. And this has three files in it, one for each year, 2011, 2012, and 2013. Let me open one of these. So if you look at 2011, everyone, there are about 9,000 records that we have. And we also have all these columns with us. There are let us check once. So there are 21 columns that we have. The data here is not really important, but it's a transactional data with which we are working. And the same set of 21 columns are also available in the other two files, which is 2012 and 2013. Now, the objective is that I have to combine the data from all of these files into a single data set. So that is problem number one. Problem number two is that we have a category dimension table with us. So this sheet only has the three categories and the 17 subcategories. Now, if you go back to the 2011 data, you will notice that in this transactional data set, we only have the subcategory. We do not have the category. So if you look, we can see that we only have the subcategory here in column P, but we don't know the parent. So we don't know which category all of these belong to. Now, this is typically how any data set would be prepared, where there are multiple tables. Why are there multiple tables and not one master table? A lot of reasons. There might be different file owners. There is a security concern. Plus, from an optimization point of view, it doesn't make sense to keep all your data in a single file. That is why we have something like SQL that allows you to query and do the ETL operations. All right. So I will go to Tableau and we will go to Excel. And to begin with, I will simply select one of the files from the sales historical folder, which is, let us say, 2011. Go to open. Okay, now in this screen, you can see that we have sales, which is the name of the sheet, and we have 2011 being the name of the workbook. I can double click on the new union option. And here we will select my wildcard automatic union. The folder is already selected for us. This is the folder that has 2011 in it. And I want to include all the sheets. And I also want to include all the workbooks, which are an Excel file. So that would be an asterisk.xlsx. That means that any and all Excel files that are there should be included. Click on OK. Now, when I do that, you notice that it tries to create a join between the original and the new one. So let me just remove this and do the union one more time. So wildcard automatic, we are selecting asterisk.xlsx. So it selects all the Excel files. Go to OK. And you notice that we have a union that comes here. When I go to sheet 1, and we double click on order date and double click on sales, you can clearly see that we have the data for 2011, 2012, 2013. How cool is that? But there is something that is missing. We only have the subcategory. We don't have the category. So if I scroll this, you can see that we only have the subcategory, but we don't have the category. So we go to add, and I want to add another Excel file. So on my desktop, we have category, open. Now you notice that there are two connections that we have. So on the category workbook, I will select the sheet and then drag it, and this creates a relationship. Now, if you think about it, sheet one, which is the category, is my primary key, and union is my foreign key. Sheet one is the primary key because each subcategory is mentioned only one time. There are 17 of them. But in the union, obviously, each subcategory has been sold multiple times. So when I go to edit relationship, you can see here that it is automatically detecting that my subcategory and subcategory are matching. If I go to performance options, then I can also change the cardinality. So we know that the subcategory in the union is a many site, and the subcategory in sheet one is a one site. Like this. Let me go back to the sheet. And now when we double click on the category, how cool is that? It is able to split the data for the year 2011 into three categories: furniture, office supplies, technology. Despite the fact that the category is not in the same 2011, 2012, and 2013 file, it is there in a different file altogether. Now, I'm obviously not covering this topic in detail, but I'm just letting you know what you should be reading about. So please definitely read about a dimension versus a fact table. There are some excellent websites that talk about it. Also read about data normalization, which allows you to structure a relational data. We call it a relational database because we are relating two different data sets, the sales data and the category data. Also remember that for more advanced operations, we do have a tool called Tableau Prep that allows you to do this with a lot more flexibility. So while in Tableau, it's good to have these very basic features of a union and a merge, you should know that Tableau Prep is the tool more appropriate for it, which will give you a number of different options. Now, union is quite simple to understand, but if you look at the merge or the join, we call it by different terms. And if you just search for joins and you do an image search, you can see that this explains how joins work. Fundamentally, the topic is the same, irrespective of whichever tool you work on. So whether I do it on 9 or on Python or on SQL or on Power Query or on Alteryx or on Tableau, the fundamentals will remain the same. Those of you who have never worked on it, do not be afraid. It's not a very difficult topic. Definitely go ahead and have a look at it. In Excel, when we use a VLOOKUP, that is equivalent to a left outer join. Even though now with the introduction of dynamic arrays and lambda, we can recreate other types of joins in Excel as well. All of this has been explained on my YouTube channel. So I have explained dimension tables, fact tables, relational models, data normalization, as well as how joins work. So make sure to have a look at that.